Welcome to Short Attention Span Cooking. Today we'll be learning how to temper chocolate. Apologies to my normal viewers, today's video is going to be rather sensible and instructive and not at all silly. Okay, tempering chocolate is really easy. You don't need any special skills, you don't need too much special equipment, you just need to buy the right chocolate. To temper chocolate, I recommend you have three things. 1. The right chocolate. 2. A digital thermometer. And 3. A heat gun or a good hairdryer. So, the chocolate. I recommend you buy named couverture chocolate from your local food wholesaler. You want to go to the sort of place where local restaurants buy their food from. So, catering supplies, wholesalers, cash and carry, that sort of place. For the chocolate, you're going to want to look for three things. Number 1, it needs to say couverture on it. Number 2, it needs to have the melting temperature for that specific chocolate on the side of the packet. And number 3, to ensure that you're buying good quality, make sure you look for vanilla, not vanillin, which is synthetic. For the digital thermometer, it doesn't need to be expensive. I'm using the Heston Blumenthal one, which is about $20–30. And to melt the chocolate, what I recommend is a heat gun from your local hardware store. Now this is the sort of thing you use to strip wallpaper, it costs about $30 or $40. You can also use a good powerful hairdryer. I recommend using the heat gun over a double boiler. A double boiler has lots of steam and liquid flying around. Any of that water gets into your mixture, your chocolate may not temper. With those three things, let's start tempering chocolate. On the side of the packet of the chocolate, it will show you a range of different temperatures. The temperatures that we're interested in, this temperature here, this is what we need to melt our chocolate up to. And then this temperature here, this is the temperature of the chocolate that we need to bring it back down to. Today we're going to be doing the seeding method, not the tabling method. No fancy marble slabs and tools for us. You really don't need it. The basics of the seeding method are this. Step 1. Heat the chocolate up to the melting temperature. Step 2. Cool the chocolate down to the working temperature. We're going to cool the chocolate down using chocolate. Let's start off with 2 cups of your chocolate in a large plastic bowl. Melt the chocolate up to this first temperature that we saw. Now this is normally around 45 degrees C. Melt the chocolate gently using a heat gun or hairdryer. Keep the heat not too hot, keep lifting the heat gun away so that you don't burn the chocolate. Heat gently and stir it in a simple plastic bowl with a simple spatula until it becomes liquid. Now when melting or cooling chocolate, it's important to know that chocolate has a kind of melting inertia. So even if you've stopped heating it, it will probably get a little bit warmer for a few seconds. As soon as the chocolate reaches this temperature or very close, stop heating it, and now we're going to start cooling it down and keep stirring this regularly. For this seeding method, what we do is we take already tempered chocolate and we add it back into our melted chocolate and stir it until we bring the chocolate down to the next temperature. This temperature, as we can see on the side of the packet, is what they may call the moulding temperature. Once you've stopped heating, add 1 handful of chocolate. Now the chocolate in the packet that you've bought will be tempered. So this is the right type of chocolate we need. Add a handful of the callets back into the bowl and stir until it's all melted. Once your first handful of chocolate has melted, keep stirring and add small amounts, smaller and smaller handfuls, checking the temperature almost constantly. Now, you do see some people using an immersion blender for this technique, which I've done before. Just be careful that the blades on the immersion blender heat up and that can get in the way of trying to cool down your chocolate. Once the temperature starts getting right down within a degree or 2 of what we want, add very small amounts of the callets and wait until they're completely melted. Check the temperature all the time. Now once the chocolate reaches our desired temperature, believe it or not, that is fully tempered chocolate. Now the check that most people do is to put some on the back of a spoon, let it sit 2 or 3 minutes, then the chocolate will be shiny and smooth, telling us that our chocolate is tempered. Now be careful, if you do this spoon technique, while you're doing that, the chocolate in your bowl is cooling down. If it gets too cool, it will go out of temperature. So make sure to use the chocolate immediately for whatever you want to use it for, or put it into a melting tank. As you can see here, I'm just pouring my chocolate into a simple mold to prove that it's tempered. Once you've poured your chocolate, let it sit for 10 minutes and then put it in the fridge for 10 minutes. This will help us extract our chocolate from the mold. As you can see here, properly tempered chocolate, once it's been refrigerated, will fall straight out of the mold with a gentle tap. The final test to know if our chocolate has tempered properly is to snap. Snap the chocolate and it should sound like this. Okay, on the next episode we will talk about what we can do with our chocolate once it is tempered. I hope you had fun.